there, book friends. It's Joan. I have I'm going to do a weekly update today. I also found some gift cards that I used, so I have a little book haul. I'm going to tell you what's on my TBR and how I'm selecting my TBR. So with all of that, let's get into this video. Last week, or the week before, I'm not sure, I was in the middle of The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek. And this I had on audio from the library. I own this one. So that's what I seem to be doing. I have my book collections, excuse me, and I'm putting myself on a wait list on Libby. And so that when they come up, that's how I'm picking it. That's how I'm selecting my TBR, is however Libby comes up in the order. So I usually have the book, or it's something I want to read and I can get it from the library. But coordinating from the library and Libby is a little difficult. Getting I like a hard copy and I like the audio. So anyway, I read this book. And I think I said in one of my videos that I do genealogy. And this is based on a true phenomenon that happened with some recessive genes in an isolated community that had some inbreeding. I think it's called endogamy. In more colloquial language, the tree doesn't fork. You keep marrying on the same. Anyway, so a lot of these people ended up with blood that didn't appear. It wasn't oxygenated. There was an enzyme that was missing. And so their skin appeared blue because of the non-oxygenated blood. Anyway, so, you know, based in fact, but the story is fictionalized. I really liked this book. I will say it was very folksy in the audio. The narrator, I liked her a lot. Kentucky, and, you know, had the whole accent, and I'm in Texas, so I'm not, and my people are from Kentucky too, so I love the accent. I think it was in contrast to what I was reading before. I was kind of like, what? You know, I think I was reading this other Eden, and then I went into this book. And so it was a little jarring, just in terms, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Really sweet story, and good discussion, you know, around the Depression and the access to education and what that could mean. And so a lot of good themes wrapped in a really charming, sometimes hard, not every, you know, I walked away feeling good, but there was some hard stuff in it. So liked it a lot. A little higher than just liked it on my ratings of can't stop thinking about it, loved it, liked it, could have been better, and did not finish. This one was a good one. I do think about her. Sweet girl in there. Okay, so this is, maybe it's because it's, I think it's Women's Month. I'm not really good at paying attention to that kind of stuff. I don't really engage a whole lot with whatever month it's supposed to be. But my childhood friend, Candy, I went to see her this summer. She lives in Oregon, and she belongs to a book club, and I was kind of new to the book club, and she had this laying around. I said, is it good? She said, yes. So I got it. So it's been a while, but it popped up on my Libby, and so I thought, it's time. Ooh, I loved this book. I loved this book. I think it's a really good book for book club. There's so many things to discuss and to think about, and yeah, I love this. Takes place in the late 1400s, and she's born into a family with position and a long line of doctors, which typically a woman wouldn't be a doctor, but her grandmother and grandfather were both kind of doctors. There was also a clear division between what doctors would do and what a midwife would do. So oddly enough, the doctor didn't really examine you, just kind of look at you. And the midwife would kind of lay hands on you. And so this really explores themes of women empowerment and what that looks like in a really restrictive society where the whole foot binding thing is going on. And that's a whole nother lane to get into, but really well-developed characters who stay with you and you root for, and you wish that we're under different circumstances. And really totally recommend this book. Very good. Okay, so, oh, I need a place card holder. And I just put this one up. This is not the book I read. I'm just showing you the back because I'm going to put the real picture here. I read The Immortalist. The Immortalist. Oh, I think I had seen it a lot on BookTube when I was recovering. And I was curious about it. I saw it at the library, picked it up. It was really good. It was really good. I think it's a book that also excellent for a book club because there's so much in there to discuss. So the premise of The Immortalist is the book opens, I think it's 1969. There are 4 children in New York City. They're their dad's a quite observant Jew, and I think their mom, you know, is in the game, but not really fully in. These 4 kids, the second oldest hears of a woman who can tell you your date of death. And so they save up their money and they go visit her, and she takes them in one by one. So the other children don't know what she said to them unless they chose to disclose it. So they each go in and they get the information. And then the entirety of the book then goes from the youngest to the oldest and tells their life. So, you know, the youngest, he's 16 when he and the next one, his sister, they're sort of the artsy of the 2. The oldest 2 are more scholarly and bent on education, and the younger 2 are more artsy. So it turns out that the young man, 1969, observant Jewish family, he's gay. And so not a totally easy thing to do to come out as gay. So he runs away with his sister to San Francisco, 1969, and he can be himself fully. So then it goes through the sister, the one that ran away to San Francisco, that sister, then the guy whose idea it was, I think his name was David in the book, David and his life, and then the oldest sister. And there were parts, like for some reason I wanted to get to David. I wanted to know what happened with him. So I kind of trudged through it. But the questions remain for all of them. Did their life unfold in such a way that it was guided by this piece of information that this woman had given them? So did they make choices that led them down that path, or was it fate? Did she actually have some kind of knowledge and it would have unfolded that way? Anyway, great discussion book. You know, some trigger warnings if there's a little bit of un poquito graphic, you know, descriptions of sex. You know, it didn't bother me. I did have it playing on the car. I was going to see with my husband, and he was like, "What are you reading?" I'm like, "Oop, fast forward a little bit." He was a little uncomfortable, but anyway, it was fun. It was a great read, and I totally recommend it. You know, if you're comfortable going down and talking about those things and those questions. Excellent read. All right. So that's what I've read. I haven't read a whole lot. I've been kind of slow. You know, things come up in my life and I'm cleaning out rooms and getting rid of things and, you know, trying to do grown-up things, even though I just want to sit and read all day. I am currently reading Wolf at the Table, and I have been waiting for this, and it popped up on Libby, and I was like, all right, that's what I'm reading. Now, I will say, I don't know where I am. I was doing audio on the very long drive home from my mom's house yesterday. So of laid out very similarly to The Immortalist. It isn't the same story, but it does start out in the 60s, I believe, or 1951 New York. 1951 New York, and it starts with the core family, and they have 6 children. They're Catholic, so very similar underpinnings, scaffolding to hang this story on. Something happens, and then it begins to kind of go back between the children as they grow up. Not the same story, but like I said, just the scaffolding, the underpinning is very similarly structured. I'm enjoying it. I don't have a clue what's going to happen, but the premise is that I think, if I read correctly, the kids all grow up and they fan out across the nation, each pursuing their own dream, and then at some point, the mother or somebody begins to suspect that one of the kids is a serial killer. And I'm not sure how that unfolds, but I'm enjoying it a great deal. So if it comes up on your Libby, grab it. My other one that I also got via Libby that I, as soon as I finish Wolf at the Table, which will be in the next couple of days, I'm going to start this. Now, I have owned this book a very long time. Anything about libraries, anything about reading lists. I love a good list. I love lists of all kinds. So this was, and if there's a reading list to read from within the book, that's bonus to me, because I'll try to do that if I like the book. I remember when Harry Met Sally came out, and they talked a lot about Casablanca. So it would be my practice, if I was going to watch When Harry Met Sally, I would also watch Casablanca, however you say it. And then when Sleepless in Seattle came out and they did An Affair to Remember within that movie, I always now watch those two together. So sort of the same thing. So I'm really looking forward to this. Some of the books on the reading lists, I have read a long time ago, but it'll be fine. I'm really excited to get into this. And then lastly on my to be read list, because it was available on Libby, and ding, and I know, probably really sick, but John Grisham. I did get this from the library. I don't own this one, shockingly, but it's Ford County. So while it's not a Jake Brigance, it is Ford County. Judge Atlee is sort of, I think, the focus of this one. And Rex is in there, all my little favorite characters. So while it's not technically a series, it'll be a fun and fast read. I'll get through it in a day, probably, and, you know, fun. I need something a little lighter, familiar, sort of like watching Seinfeld or The Office, just because you need a good laugh, something like that, you know, comfortable. Okay, so I found my favorite. I have, you know, I buy most of my books from Amazon. We have a lovely Barnes & Noble about 40 minutes from here that I occasionally go into. My last book haul that I showed you was from there. But more frequently than Barnes & Noble, there is a used bookstore called Half Price Books here in Texas. And it might be elsewhere, but I think it started here. And it's a great, great bookstore. And I had 2 gift cards, so I popped in there. So I'm going to just show you my quick little haul. This book, Where the Lost Wander. I read another book, What the Wind Knows, by Amy Harmon, and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I had no expectation of enjoying it. So this one is about traveling the Oregon Trail in 1853, and I believe one of the young women on the trail, she loses her husband, and then this Native American is helping them to get to their intended destination, and they fall in love, and all the things that can happen. Now, is this a romance? I don't know. Maybe it's more history with a smattering of romance, which I can tolerate. But also, I love the cover. I totally judge books by their cover. And I'll probably do a whole video on that one day, just because cover art means a lot and it conveys a lot. There's a lot of subtext that is conveyed subconsciously without people knowing it and what they respond to. So anyway, I'm excited about this one. I picked up the Paris Librarian. Again, anything with book lists or books or libraries, I'm in. I have no idea about this book at all. I'm not sure why I picked it up. Oh, I know why. See here? Kristen Harmel. I read something by her and I liked it. Oh, The Book of Lost Names. Yes. So I liked it. It'll be a good. Again, the books at Half Price Books, they're spotless for the most part. Sometimes they're not, but like the spine's not even bent. These look brand new. So it's a good deal. I had this book, and I think I got rid of it before I read it years ago when I was getting rid of stuff. And anyway, this one, Educated. I see it like everywhere, and I'm like, I thought I read that. I don't remember. So I got it again, new, brand new, untouched. I'm interested in this. I do like nonfiction when there's some interesting story within it. The next book, The House Girl. I'm not sure why I picked this up. It just looked interesting. I love the cover. It had some good reviews. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about the author, but it's ambitious young lawyer working on a historic class action suit seeking reparations for the descendants of American slaves. Josephine is a 17-year-old house slave who tends to the mistress of a Virginia tobacco farm, an aspiring artist named Luann Bell. Alternating between antebellum Virginia and modern-day New York, The House Girl is a searing tale of art, love it, history, love it, love, and secrets that intertwines the stories of two remarkable women. Okay, so it's going to be great, and I'm sure tons of people have read this and, have opinions on it. I don't know anything about it, but looks good. And then the last one, The Henna Artist. And it's a Reese one. I have visited India 5 times, and I love and have a heart for the people there. So I do love to read things that are either in the culture of or within India and specific parts of India. I'm not sure which part this one is, but yeah, I like, yes. So that was on my haul. I did get another one. I have some, oh, where is it? This one, The Covenant of Water. That was a great book. A great book, and really resonated with me within my experience of India. Although it was on the other coast, I tend to go to southeast, eastern part of India. Yeah, it was so good. If you haven't read and you want to immerse yourself, it is a big book, but beautifully written, and I loved it so much. And the last little thing, I did find a book. I must have bought it when I was wanting to read the classics, and I'm not so good at that, but I'm trying. So I found this little copy of Jane Eyre. It's very little. But the font isn't too bad. So that will go in my to-be-read pile as well, and be part of my classics. So that's it. I ran a little long, a little chatty. I probably gave a little more information than I normally do, but Until next time.